Good morning, JBLM.
Good morning.
Welcome to the November update. As always, we have a packed agenda this morning. Just a couple admin remarks. As always, we thank the Red Cross for providing coffee. Don't forget to visit the tables in the back. There's a lot of good service providers back there, so if you haven't touched them on your way in, touch them on your way out. Also, on your tables are feedback sheets. Please fill those out if you have recommendations for us. We will collect them, so just fill them out and leave them on the tables. And with that, I will turn it over to Colonel Lucas.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Colonel Nicole Lucas. I'm the Joint Base Garrison Commander here at JBLM, and welcome to the community update. Thanks so much for being here, General Graham, sir, General Burleson, sir. I think our wing leadership is en route as well, and to all the command teams that are here this morning, thank you for your participation. So like we've been doing for the past year or so, we like to start the community update with some recognition, and as promised at the last one, I'm really proud to be able to bring up some of our Army 10 miler team runners and talk to you a little bit about what they did back in DC a couple of weeks ago. So come on up, guys. Oh, you've got your own mic.
Okay, so my name is Beth Ellis, and in support of our readiness efforts, our JBLM 10 miler team went and took our race by storm this year. Appreciate all the support. I know a lot of our command teams were supporting these guys going out there, and so I just want to really quickly give these guys the recognition they deserve. Our women's team took second in their division. Our men's team took 10th, so a round of applause for these guys. And I'm going to really quick pass the microphone down so they can introduce themselves, their unit, and then we'll go ahead and get them recognized.
Lieutenant Colonel Shoshana Lane, 46th ASP Commander. I'm Major Nicole Salon. I'm with 160th.
Special Sergeant Mejia is at 296 BSB.
Staff Sergeant Jenkins, 42nd MP Brigade.
Sergeant Cabete from Madigan.
Sergeant William Ezard, 42nd MP Brigade, Protectors.
Specialist Sangatich for 2nd MP Brigade.
All right. And we have a few team members who had PCS immediately after the race, and so just want to quickly recognize Lieutenant Schreck, Lieutenant Larson, and Lieutenant Williams for the men's team. So real quick, round of applause, and then we'll go ahead and get these guys recognized. Thank you.
Oh, I don't.
Oh, you're good? Okay. Right. That's all we had.
One more round of applause.
One more. Thanks, guys.
All right, I know next year's our first place win, right? Yeah, okay. No pressure. All right, so we do have a couple of hot topics that we like to cover, but before I do that, I would like to hand over to Major General Graham, sir, for some opening comments.
For everybody, just want to thank the entire command, all the command teams in the community for a great job during Halloween. It was extremely well done, and it was done safely. So I want to thank everybody for all the great work that they did. In that vein of the next holiday that's coming up, we've got an extension on Santa's Castle, right, for applications, for nominations, and that extension is to the 11th of November. Did I get that right? Okay. Speaking of the holiday season, there's lots and lots of programs here to help out families or soldiers in need. Got a tremendous support group, so if any of the commands out there have any soldiers or families that are struggling as the holiday season approaches, please just come up on the net and we'll get you some assistance in that. And the last thing, building upon the wonderful work of Halloween going off, trick-or-treating going off safely, even though we've got a little bit of daylight savings going on and we bought some daylight back in the morning, I'd still just want to caution everybody about safety, speed on the roadways, limited visibility, particularly during PT hours. Just got to keep pushing that. anyways, great job on Halloween, and turn back over to the Garrison commander.
Thanks, sir. I'd like to offer Colonel Stainpine an opportunity for some opening comments.
Hey, great to see you guys. I also just wanted to echo a big thank you for what you did over the Halloween season, and also all the planning that's already gone into making this another great holiday season here at JBLM. The airlift wing and Team McChord continues to be extremely busy. We expect to have missions going on over all of the holidays, so you'll still see us hard at work over in the airlift wing. During the holiday season, we've got Operation Deep Freeze still going on, another presidential move coming up, and we're also looking forward to hopefully opening up Seala Creek sometime soon, the landing zone out there, so another great training opportunity for us and you. So thanks again for all that you do, and I'll turn it back over.
Thanks, Erin. All right. So I got a couple of hot topics here I'll cover at the beginning of the brief, and then we'll roll into the meat of it. So I'm going to start with, unfortunately, we don't have Mr. James this morning, but we've got a very qualified stand-in to talk about some of the calendar events.
I'm a rookie at this. As you said, Mr. Buck James, I'm Deputy Director of DP TAMS, Lieutenant Colonel Chris Cavan. I work for Buck James. He currently has another priority going on right now and apologizes for not being here, but I hope you leave just as fulfilled with me as his replacement. Outside of the Donzas, I believe each one of the individual directorates are going to cover many of these events in detail, which leads me to just highlight on the 7th of December, there is a personal shred day. And if you miss that one, you can make it up on the 4th of January. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to, if you have been over to the JBLM main side of the installation, you've seen some craziness going on in the PX parking lot, and so we just want to take a little bit this morning just to right up front talk to you about what's going on there and what it kind of means to you as you get in and out. The PX is open.
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Good morning. My name is Lydia Morris. I am the Human Resource Manager for the Exchange. We do want to first off apologize for the inconvenience of the construction, but we have great things happening, and we will have a fabulous new facility in a few short months, 2 years. So to start off with, we have the main entrance that is currently open, that is off of 41st Division Drive. That is an entrance and an exit. There is a pedestrian area you could see by the green arrows that allow pedestrian access to both locations. And then you can see the main entrance is open. That is the primary and only entrance and exit to the building at this time for customers. The second parking lot entry and exit option is if you come down on Pendleton Avenue by the Burger King. At that stoplight, if you come in on 14th Street, you were able to enter on the side entrance and also be able to drive around and, and be able to come into the main entrance that is currently the only opening. So the question may come up is why block off so much at once? It is a logistical process to make sure that we can access utilities, and that is on one side of the building, and then construction will primarily start on the lower section, which used to be the outdoor living area.
And the other thing that we'll try to do as we move through this project is kind of keep you informed with what's going on, because while it is a big inconvenience, as we experience it, the end state is really going to be great for JBLM and all the folks that are here on JBLM. So we'll kind of periodically update you on what's going on, but also what's coming in, so you get a sense of what we're waiting for. Next slide. So the next thing I want to cover, we've got, there's 10 child development centers and CYS facilities on JBLM, and they're of great importance, I know, to your soldiers and airmen here on the installation. And so we are always working to improve those. So we've got good news in that we're about to begin renovation, but what that does mean, as many of you can imagine, all 3 of my kids were raised in Army CDCs, so what this means is some change that we want to make sure we let the folks that utilize these facilities know about. So over to you, ma'am.
Morning, Kelly Wetzel with MWR. We're going to be playing checkers with the kids at the McChord CDCs. We are going to start with improvements at Building 578, and this is for people who specifically have children in the McChord CDC system. So Building 578 and 580. We will start with construction in Building 578. We are going to move them next door to Building 580 when construction starts. There is room over there for all the children. Then, we are still in renovations at Building 3032. Those children in the before and after school program are currently housed in Building 560 across the street from Buildings 578 and 580. When Building 3032 is complete, we will move the children back from 560 to 3032, and then we will continue renovations on Building 580, or this is confusing, from 578. We will take the children from 578, move them to Building 560 once it has been emptied of the children in the before and after school program, give them a little bit of room. When 578 is complete, we will move the children from 580 into 560 so that we can start renovations of Building 580. It's confusing, I understand that, but if you have children in any of those buildings, talk to the folks in the center. They have specific information, and when construction starts in December, they'll be able to give you more details. Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
We heard that there may be a limitation for hourly care. Is that?
There is going to be an hourly care limitation. We'll lose about 3 spots in hourly care.
And that's a great question, and that was going to be, so hourly care is affected, but hourly care is available in other locations, so it just means a little bit more planning to use another facility on JBLM. So I promise we're going to keep track of every single one of the kids as we move them around. Please don't worry. Our goal is always taking good care of our children in the facilities and our families, and that remains number one, which is why we're kind of pausing here to talk about it. And if you're wearing an Army uniform and you're wondering, why are they talking to me about the CDC on McChord Field? More than 50% of the kids that are in that facility are kids of soldiers. So this does affect a lot of guys in your units, especially because more than 50% of the housing on McChord Field is actually occupied by soldiers as well. So it really is one installation when it comes to issues like this. Thanks, Kelly, for covering that. Okay, something good. I just want to take a minute there's been some news stories. We've kind of been slowly building towards the announcement of this great project. What we're doing is putting a children's museum here on JBLM. It'll be the first one in DOD. It's in partnership with the Children's Museum of Tacoma. It's a really great project, and it is really 100% focused on what your families and kids in your families need. So again, it's a really special project. If you're a big avid roller skater and you were really hoping that the roller skating rink was going to open again, it's not. Sorry. But what's going to come in its place is a really wonderful facility that's also going to be beneficial for you for FRG events, team building events, all kinds of neat things. So I am cordially inviting you to please join us for the groundbreaking at 1600. I'm sorry, 1630, thanks. So on the 14th, and I would love for you to be there. We're going to do a little groundbreaking and give you a kind of taste of what's in there. If you're kind of new to JBLM, you will see this finished during the time that you're here. So we'll be able to do this pretty neat. And please, if your spouse teams aren't here, please spread the word on this too. I'd love to see you all there. Thank you. Next slide. All right, so before I hand to, oh yes, ma'am. Absolutely, yes, we would love to have kids there, yeah. Next slide. Okay, so before I hand over to Madigan, I know most of you are aware that the Secretary of the Army was here on JBLM last week. Great visit, quick one, but really, really great visit here at JBLM. During that visit, Mrs. Esper spent some time with some junior soldiers on the installation, or spouses of junior soldiers, got some really we got some really good feedback, some things I can fix right away regarding housing. Other things, take longer, but really good feedback. The other feedback that we got had to do with some of the things in Madigan's lane. And so this morning, part of the reason we're going to touch on a couple of subjects right on the front end of the Madigan brief will help kind of continue to share information of some of the things that are bothering our young spouses and families here on the installation regarding medical care. So,
good morning.
There you are.
I had to move on you, get things shaken up a little bit. Good morning, I'm Colonel Susie Scott. I'm the Deputy Commanding Officer at Madigan Army Medical Center. And on behalf of Colonel Bunt, our commander, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. I'd like to start off by first introducing our new Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major La Région. He has been here now about a week, so you'll see him around. And then next slide, please. I'd like to start, before we get into answering some of the questions that came up during the Mrs. Esper's visit, I'd like to start off with a good news story. November is Warrior Care Month. This is actually, it's hard to believe, it's the 10th anniversary of our Warrior Care Month, where we're celebrating our wounded, ill, and injured service members and what they bring to the fight and how we're helping them through the recovery process. So throughout the course of this month, you should be hearing about some other events that will be happening in celebration of this. We had a Warrior Care breakfast earlier in the week to be able to kick things off. And then our soldiers in transition are actually, a number of them are actually in Hawaii this week participating in regional games to be able to celebrate the recovery process in transition. So lots of events going on with this. Next slide, please. So one of the key things that was brought up by spouses during Mrs. Esper's visit was access to care. Both access to appointments and access to providers to be able to talk about healthcare issues and concerns. Candidly, we are looking very hard at our access to care for the appointment piece of this. We recognize both through our pulse check on the organization and through the anecdotal responses that our appointments are longer than anticipated. In fact, I had some comments just this morning that it took a month to get in for an acute appointment. So we are looking at that very carefully. One of the things that we have already done with regard to access to well baby appointments, because that was one of the concerns that was brought up during her visit, was we've shifted some of those appointments from direct access and follow-up appointment in the pediatrics clinic at Madigan to moving some of those appointments out to our family medicine clinics, out at the community-based medical homes and into our family medicine clinic in the hospital. And that should provide some better access to those pediatricians and those family providers that can see those well baby appointments. So hopefully we will see some immediate fix to those. And we'll continue to work the access to those acute appointments so those are ready and available. The other piece was access to providers and being able to communicate one-on-one and get questions answered. The response I got was, I'm calling the clinic, I either get shunted from person to person to person, or I never get a response back from the providers. So we're working on that a little bit too. A key way to get access to your providers is through the patient portal, through MHS Genesis. For those of you that are arriving new to the installation, if you're coming from an old post, you got access through Relay Health, through TRICARE Online. With MHS Genesis here at Madigan, we no longer have access to Relay Health here. Our providers don't. So you can, if you jump into that portal, you won't find your providers there. It's through MHS Genesis. Family members can access this through a DS login. You can sign up for a username and password to be able to get onto this through the portal, and then you as soldiers can also access through using your CAT card and getting into the system. I have had reports of issues with the patient portal as well, and so we've got a ticket in to be able to address those. If you don't get a response back through the patient portal, if you could let us know through our patient experience department, and we will make sure that we get that follow-up and closure with that as well. Next slide, please. If you're having issues setting up an account in MHS Genesis through the patient portal, there is a 1-800 number that's included with your slides, and they can provide that step-by-step wise assistance with getting that user ID and password and the logon to be able to work that. You can also call our patient experience department too, and we can help facilitate that through. But the best way is through this 1-800 number to get help with access to the patient portal. All right, next slide. So I did have, there were questions about calling clinics for appointments and getting shunted from number to number as well. We actually have a centralized appointment line for all of the Puget Sound area. So for us, Oak Harbor, Bremerton, everybody in this area can call one number and get an appointment at any clinic within the area, and that's listed on these slides as well. We do not yet have appointments available through the MHS Genesis portal. That is a fix that is forthcoming from Defense Health Agency, hopefully in the near future, but we don't have a date yet for that reconciliation on that. So, and then I would like to put a plug in. We welcome your feedback on what the issues and concerns are, both through ICE comments and through Joe's as well. So you'll get Joe's surveys electronically now after your patient care visits. We really welcome that feedback because we are responding to your changes, and then your ICE comments as well. We take those very seriously. They're very important to us to be able to make sure that we're addressing your healthcare needs going forward in the community. All right, thanks. Next slide. It's flu season time. We brought this up at the last CUB that our influenza campaign was going to start. We finally have vaccine, and we will have a flu drive starting on the 19th of November. So you're welcome to come in and join us for that flu drive. Some of our specialty clinics have flu vaccine in the clinics, and they are reaching out to some of our high-risk populations already. So the pediatrics clinic for some of our high-risk kids, they're already giving out limited doses of the vaccine there as well. So you can check in with your healthcare clinic to see about availability. But we encourage folks to come to the flu drive and work this. It'll be in the Madigan Mall there in the facility to be able to help facilitate that. So if you don't want to come in for the flu drive, you are welcome as TRICARE beneficiaries to go to any TRICARE participating pharmacy and get your flu shot there for free. There should be there is no copay to those. You should be able to go in and have that benefit if you want the convenience of just getting in the community. Yes, ma'am.
Will they push the flu shots out to school care?
Pardon me?
Will they push the flu shots out to the school care?
Into the school-based clinics? I'm getting the thumbs up from Jay, so yes. And what we can do is we'll get the details on that, and I'll push them to Colonel Lucas so she can get that information out to the community, and we'll post it on our website as well for that, so you've got that information. So, okay, next slide. We are, last community update, I also talked about our wireless connectivity for our patients in the hospital. We are finally getting ready to go live with that. The connection is in, and we are about to plug it in. Our ribbon cutting or Cat 500 cable cutting, I guess, would be on the November 15th at 3 p.m. But we actually are ready to go live with that and have that access. So when you come into the hospital and are waiting with inpatients or just waiting for your appointments, you now have that access and availability to be able to continue communication. So next slide. And we are going to celebrate the post-Donza and take advantage of the fact that soldiers and family members are not going to be coming in for appointments normally anyway, and we are going to do MHS Genesis training on the 9th of November. So all of our ambulatory clinics will be closed for routine appointments on the 9th of November so that we can train and get even better using our new electronic health record. The emergency department, pharmacy, lab, x-ray, and our inpatient services are still going to be available to you. So you will still have healthcare access to you if you need it. And we'll have additional providers available, so we're expecting that if there is an increased volume, we'll be able to manage that through the urgent care clinic, through the emergency department. So you will still have care available, just not in the clinics that you normally go to for care. So next slide, please. And we are also going to be closed for routine appointments on the day after Thanksgiving and on the federal holidays, of course, as well. So November 12th, Thanksgiving Day, and then the Friday after, we will not have routine patient appointments. Again, the emergency department, pharmacy lab, x-ray will have availability, so if you need to get those things taken care of, we will be there and able to serve you. So next slide. And then we are always available to you electronically for information. The Madigan website here is available to you, and then we've got Facebook as well. Happy to take your comments and questions on that as well and continue to provide you updates. So subject to your questions, that's all I've got for you. Thanks.
Well, good morning again. I'm Alicia Grady. I'm the Director of Personnel and Family Readiness. A couple things just to kind of stay in the theme of the holidays, as mentioned by General Graham and Colonel Stainpine. Holiday seasons can be very stressful for folks, especially when it comes to finances. And so we encourage you to take advantage of all the programs and services, financial counseling that we have for your service members and their families. We do individual counseling appointments. We will come to your units, to your squadrons. If you want to do an activity or whatever that involves financial counseling, we're happy to send our counselors to you. Just sign up here, check dates and times at TimeTap, dpfr.com, or any of the phone numbers listed. We're also located in 4 locations. So down here are the locations across JBLM, so access to financial counseling should be pretty easy for anyone across the Joint Base. So please take advantage of those programs. Also, I want to mention that each year we also sponsor the Holiday Assistance Program. Last year, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, we gave out $55,000 in $50 commissary cards. An operations order has been published, and so each unit has a point of contact that will identify those families that are in need of a little extra assistance during the holidays, and then we issue those commissary checks so that they can go shopping for the holidays. I know there have been a lot of issues with ID cards and wait times for appointments. We have created this appointment system and different ways that you can help hopefully get through an ID card experience a little bit better. The issue that we face most times, though, when you do come in and you either have an appointment or you come in as a walk-in and the system is down, we are controlled by the Defense Manpower Data Center, DMDC. That system goes down on a regular basis, and it does cause a lot of issues and a lot of angst for people who are coming in to get their ID cards, and we do understand that. These issues have been elevated to Installation Management Command, IMCOM. This is not unique to JBLM. This is across the board because DMDC touches every installation that issues ID cards. We are continually working on ways to improve this, both at Waller Hall on JBLM Main and at the ID card section on McChord in Building 100. So we do have some options here to help save you time. We do have 2 locations. You can get ID cards at either one of those locations. And so not making excuses, but sometimes those situations are out of our control. But please know that we are working diligently to help correct those problems. And I'll turn it over to Beth.
Okay, good morning again. Beth Ellis, your JBLM Community Ready and Resilient Integrator. Just wanted to bring to your attention quickly that we are getting after one of General Valesky's initiatives to bring more healthy eating options across the installation. And so this specific initiative is having to do with our dining facilities. And so this month we have 2 weeks where we're going to be beta testing new healthy recipes. And they've been vetted by our Madigan nutrition experts. And in partnership with the Nutrition Care Division from Madigan, your unit DFAC managers, the Core G4, the 404th AFSBN. So across the installation, we have worked to essentially find a way to take that first step. How are we going to create a menu of healthy recipes, but also they need to be tasty. And so this is where we need your help and your feedback. And so I would ask that our commanders and our community take a look and see which DFAC near you is having a testing. So it starts next week. We're kind of sandwiching the testing between Thanksgiving. So you get you get a pass to eat whatever you want, but then go back to test our healthy recipes after Thanksgiving and before. And if you would like more information, just please come see me. I can dial in exactly which recipes if you want to know which ones at which time. It's going to be either a breakfast or lunch option at the participating DFACs. Any questions for me? Okay.
Good morning. Chuck Markham, Deputy Director of Public Works here. I just want to talk a little bit about traffic impacts that are still out there. We're coming to the end of the construction season as the rain sets in, and we appreciate everybody's patience because we've had some major projects going on at Pendleton. The main gate are now done, and we have a couple more I'll talk about here that should be finishing up by December. The first slide here just talks about some potholing and some work that WashDOT is doing here at the transition point between Lewis North and Lewis Main underneath the Pendleton Underpass. You may see single lanes with some flaggers, so just be careful in that area as they work this. And their schedule will be complete by the 21st of November. Next slide. Here in the McChord Field area in front of Building 100 and along Joe Jackson, we've done tree trimming along Joe Jackson. We're finished with that. We've taken down unsafe trees in front of Building 100 along Joe Jackson and then also along the Tuskegee Airmen ways there. We're getting ready to do a reset with the trees, so in the springtime we'll come back and plant new trees there, but really kind of a safety and a cleanup and a historic reset for that area. And so that's going on, and you'll see some temporary closures on roads throughout that area. Next slide. Here, staying on McChord Field, the Fairway Road that travels along the golf course and behind the Commissary exchange area, that's closed this week for repair. So just look for a detour there, probably along Barnes. Next slide. Staying now going over to Lewis, Main, behind the GFOQ area, just sometime this week, we're just taking some trees down, so you may see some temporary road closures there along Lewis Drive. Next slide. In the logistics area, one of the large projects that I was talking about, Rainier Drive, we're finishing that up, although not until mid-December it's scheduled, but the majority of paving is done, and it's looking good, so eventually it's going to open up here within the next 30 days or so for full traffic. So thank you for that. Again, just pay attention to the detours and the signs that will take you to the directions you need to go. Next slide. Back on Lewis, Main, the other large project we've been working the Waller Hall parking lot areas. As you can see, the phase 2 on the left side of the slide will be opening 13 November, so we'll have more parking available here next week, and along with 10th Avenue, 10th Street, there will also open up next to the library. The east side, the area on the right, the parking area, will open up mid-December. And then we'll be done with that, and it'll be much better for the Waller Hall people and all the customers. Next slide. This was planned and briefed. This is on the south end of the Gray Army Airfield on Lewis, Main. We are planning on working 2nd Division. However, this has been delayed because of contractual issues and that, so I don't have a start date for it, but this will not be happening, just to let you know right now. Next. We're still doing some crack seal and pothole repair throughout the installation. On the left is more of the 1st Brigade area on Lewis, Main. And on the right is on McChord Field, as you can see there along the streets there and behind the hangars. Next slide. And another one, we are going to look at redoing the Westway over here by Building 1010. In the new Red Cross building, but we've postponed that till next spring. We were just concerned that we wouldn't get it done in time, and it just turned into an extended project or just a kind of a mud mess. So we've postponed that. And I think that's my last slide. I'm going to be followed by sustainability and our housing people. But if you have any DPW-related questions, I'll be sitting over here, and please let me know. In concern with heating, if you have any heating issues in barracks or your admin facilities, just let me know, unless there's any questions. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kathy, Sustainability Outreach Coordinator for DPW Environmental Division. and I wanted to talk to you about America Recycles Day. So that's next week, the 15th November. But just so you know, there are two recycling centers on base. On your tables, I've dropped off our recycling folders, and also there's a folded piece of paper that shows what you can recycle if you live in housing and or if you live in Pierce County. It's a Pierce County document. So it shows you what's garbage, what's recycling, because a lot of times there's a lot of conversation about what do I do where? And every county is a little different, and sometimes depending on what city you're in, that can be a little different too. So, but at JBLM, we take a whole bunch of stuff, bring it to our recycling center. Everything we make on recycling that scrap metal or cardboard turns around and goes into your MWR programs. JBLM has a very high diversion rate, so we're actually higher than the rest of Pierce County. So everybody on JBLM recycles, and we capture those dollars for use of the people here. Thank you. Next slide. So one of the programs DPW Sustainability supports is the Let's Go program. You might have seen our little Let's Go shuttles running around base. Also, we have a Go Van pool, and we have bike share. But in this case, getting to and from SeaTac Airport about this holiday season, there's ways to do that using public transport right here from JBLM. There's, again, a flyer on your table. Check out GoLewisMcChord.com. There's some Let's Go videos that are little selfie videos, tell you how to do it. But you can get there from here, and you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money. So keep that in mind. And if you're interested in hooking up a van pool for your unit or for your directorate or anything like that, let us know. We have special outreach opportunities right now with Pierce County to help you get set up. Next slide. Oh, that's not me. Okay, any questions for me? Thank you.
Good morning, Beth Wilson. I'm the Chief of the Housing Division. I just wanted to remind the families that live in JBLM housing that our partner Lincoln, they provide monthly free events for the families. They're very highly attended. The next one is scheduled for next week, the spousal mixer. And then the week of the 10th through the 14th of December, they will do the Holiday Light Contest. They'll be out in the 5 different communities in the evening. They are going to select a total of 5 families from each area, and they will receive a $100 gift card. So 25 winners is a pretty good deal. They ask those families that are extreme decorators to please refrain from putting anything on the rooftops. Next slide, please. And this is just a reminder of when you all should remove your decorations. And if you need this information, it is handed out to you. Actually, it's sent out via email to all the families monthly from Lincoln, and it's also on their website. Any questions? Okay.
I'm back. So this is better. This isn't confusing. This is the fun stuff. Everything that's going on in November. First off, we have the turkey trot coming up on the 17th. If you haven't registered, do it, because we want to make sure that everybody gets a t-shirt. And if you weren't one of the first 400 to register, the first 400 folks that registered for this race get a turkey leg. So, and they'll be cooking them on site. So if you've registered, you get that turkey leg if you're one of the first 400. Also, for those folks who have they're not so excited about Thanksgiving. Maybe you don't cook. Maybe you don't like the way your mother-in-law cooks. We have an option for you. You can come to the Thanksgiving buffet at the club. It's everything that you would traditionally get at Grandma's house and more. And it's all you can eat. So if you'd like to make reservations, they're taking them right now. I talked to them yesterday, and they said that they have 3 settings, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. The 1 o'clock setting is getting close to full. So if you are looking to make reservations, I would call as soon as possible. And then on the quick list, trivia night this coming Friday night at the club. We had about 30 folks for trivia night last Friday. So if you think you're smart and you think you want to get a team together to compete, I would definitely show up on Friday night. They have really good prizes. There's a job fair. If you know somebody who's looking for employment and they would like to work with children, we are always looking for folks in our Child and Youth Services programs. And so the job fair is coming up on the 13th at Eagles Pride. Another set of trivia nights at the Sam Adams Cascade on base in November. Sporting clays if you're a skeet shooter. and then the Black Friday sale at the Northwest Adventure Center. They were joking yesterday about, yeah, we've got socks and we've got T-shirts on sale, but no, they've got a lot more stuff than that. They've got all the outdoor recreation equipment that you would want to have, and it's on sale. And before we switch slides, I do have a note. This was something last minute that was handed to me. If you have children who are in the Child Development Center programs on base, please know that CDC's school-age programs, the youth centers are all closed Thanksgiving Day. We have one center that will be open the day after Thanksgiving. If you or someone in your unit or your squadron is required to work on the day after Thanksgiving, and they are in the CDC programs, we have one center that will be open on base. It'll be Hillside CDC. They will be open for Child Development Center age kids, so that is before school. And then we have children who are in the before and after school programs, so the school age programs. They will also meet at Hillside Child Development Center. Please talk to the folks in your center, and we can get you the information that way. But if you've got kids in those programs, we'll have one center open if you are required to work the day after Thanksgiving. Next slide, please. So we get pretty packed in December and January. Lots of things going on. Just some of the highlights. The tree lighting at Jensen Fitness Center on the 3rd of December. Winterfest and Trees for Troops at American Lake Conference Center, and Breakfast with Santa also on the 15th. And then the Jingle Bell Jog. That gives you an opportunity to dress up in your holiday finest and go out and run. And it's an awful lot of fun. Usually Santa's there. We've got some reindeers, things like that. And then coming up in January, so you've packed it on for the holidays and you really need to think about getting back into the fitness center or getting into a workout routine, we have the Fitness Resolution Fair. We always try and do that right after the first of the year. So you can figure out maybe changing up your workout or find out what's available for you in the different gyms that we have on base. The Commander's Cup Bowling starts the 24th of January. We've got another wine and canvas coming up. And then Latin Night. Latin Night was hugely popular the last time we did it at Sam Adams in the Cascade, and so we're doing it double this time. So if you're interested, that's on January 28th. And then the reminder for those of you who are home brewers or you just like beer, we have Brewfest coming up in February, and we should be getting information out about that. If you do home brew, start your brews now, because we'll be looking for your entries into our Brewfest competition starting probably the first part of January. And then the next slide is the holiday concert, the First Corps holiday concert, and I've got information that they provided here. We are again running the annual holiday concert. It is this year telling the story of America's First Corps first 100 years through holiday magic and music, and the event is hosted by Lieutenant General Valesky, and so they would like to see you out there. It's a good way to kick off the holidays. Any questions? Thank you. Have a good time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is PFC Best. I'm the boss secretary. Here is our overview of our community service events. Throughout the past few, here at the top left corner, there's a list of our past events, broken down by the date of which the events were held, the amount of volunteers, and the amount of hours that each volunteer dedicated towards each event. A Walk in the Dark at Shoreline Park was our annual haunted house. It was by far the most successful fundraiser that we will hold this year due to the 210 volunteers that donated over 1,200 hours of their personal time to this event. Coming up in the next 30 days, BOSS will be heading down to Washington State Veteran Home to assist in the cleanup of their building. Coming up in December, American Red Cross will be distributing holiday cards and cookies to single service members the 7th, 14th, and 21st of December. Throughout December, BOSS will be hosting a Rent-A-Santa program where units and families will be able to rent out a Santa and elf for their personal parties. Next slide, please. Here's an overview of our recreation and leisure activities. In the past 30 days, BOSS took Army and Air Force BOSS representatives down to Aventura, which is a rope obstacle course that teaches team building through communicating and helping each other navigate the course. Coming up in The next month, we will have our Boss Thanksgiving dinner, which will be held on Thanksgiving. Redundant. In December, at the last 2 weeks of December, we'll have our winter half days where we will be taking single service members around the Washington area to conduct certain holiday activities such as snow tubing, ice skating, and holiday shopping. Next slide, please. So on Thanksgiving Day, we will be hosting a Thanksgiving meal at the Warrior Zone from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this event will include a holiday meal and the opportunity for single service members to participate in pool, Madden 19, and Smash Bros tournaments. Each winner of each tournament will be given a prize, and there will be various prize drawings throughout the day. Any questions? How much does the Thanksgiving cost? Nothing. It's free to single service members.
For the Rent to Santa, phone number or email address where units can get a hold of you to have your Santa come in?
We do. It will be the boss office, which is 253-967, sorry. 5636. 36. The question was, where can someone get a hold of us to rent a Santa? Any further questions? Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Chaplain Brandt, Garrison Chaplain. Just a couple of things listed up there on our slides, a couple of events coming up. This is a combined Thanksgiving celebration worship service, an ecumenical event, so everybody's welcome. Just be a short service the day before Thanksgiving. Just come on over, celebrate, sing some songs with us, and we'll give thanks together corporately. We also have a clergy symposium coming up on the 28th. I'd like, if you go to a church outpost, a congregation, and you would like to invite your leadership, let me know, and we can make sure they get the invitations to this event as well. The whole purpose of this event is to try and coordinate with the clergies in the community to better support our service members in their congregations. We got a lot of folks that go off-post, and we want to make sure that the worshiping communities out there know about the unique challenges that all of us face wearing the uniform, not only the service members themselves, but the family members as well. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks, as well as our combined services. We've got the Protestant ones, and this is a page for the Catholic ones, the next one. So those are all listed there for your enjoyment. Come and celebrate the holidays with us. I just got notified last night by a Jewish rabbi that he's going to be doing a Hanukkah celebration as well on the 3rd of December, and we'll get that posted. If you go to our JBLM Religious Support Facebook page, just type in JBLM Religious Support, we'll have a flyer posted in there to list the details of that menorah lighting event as well. I'd like to introduce my family life chaplain and his wife, Chamfari and Sarah, and they're going to talk about the next slide for just a second.
One afternoon last spring, I was reflecting on several conversations that I'd had that week with military spouses who were frustrated by their soldiers' lack of boundaries between the office and home life. And these were only two of many of the conversations I've had over the last 15 years with fellow military spouses. And out of my desire to help, I came home that day and I told my husband, we need to write a curriculum to help these families and with these boundaries. And that is where the Military Spouse Survey was born.
So we have left off preaching and started meddling, right? The survey's been up for a little while. We've had over 100 responses. This is what we've learned. When asked, do your children regret your spouse's military service? 21% of spouses said no. 74% of the spouses that took the survey said their job is simply to suck it up and drive on. 69% of spouses say that their service member puts the military's needs above their family's needs. 97% of those that took our survey say that their spouse has no concrete boundaries between work life and home life. There's a card on your table that has a copy of our link. My question for you is, will you please help me get this survey out so that we can get more data from these spouses and write a curriculum that teaches some boundaries. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Campbell. I'm one of the assistant grocery managers at Lewis, Maine. We will have the fresh Foster Farm turkeys available November 16th. The Valcrest turkeys right now frozen are 49 cents a pound. First come, first serve. We cannot reserve or hold any. Special orders 24 hours in advance. All party trays, prime rib, crown roast, 24 hours, please call. Next. We will be observing Veterans Day on Sunday, 10 to 6, so the commissary will close at 6 o'clock. On Thanksgiving, we are closed all day. Next. And we have all of the international cookies, the advent calendars, the chests, a lot of the international cookies and crackers. Please come and purchase some. Thank you very much.
Hello again, Lydia Morris from the Exchange. We have slides here that represent our Veterans Day hours. So Veterans Day is observed on the 11th of November, obviously. And due to the federal holiday being observed on Monday, the 12th of November, we will have reduced hours on that day. Thanksgiving Day, we will be closed at both Lewis and McChord main stores, and we will open on Friday, 23 November at 0600 hours. Next slide, please. Okay, the Exchange is hiring seasonal associates. If you have a family member that may be looking for some extra holiday earnings, please let us know. Our contact information is on the slide. I would also like to highlight two positions in particular for motor vehicle operator drivers. These are CDL driver's license holders. They are local routes here on Joint Base Lewis McChord. They are not over-the-road drivers, so you will be home nights and weekends if you are interested. Once again, please contact us. We have a meet and greet with Trey Flowers, Seattle Seahawks cornerback, scheduled for Tuesday, the 20th of November at both Lewis and McChord main stores. Throughout the month of November, we have a free breakfast offering, so free Deli Express breakfast sandwich with the purchase of a Red Bull at regular price. We are excited to announce the new hair studios, 2 locations available for you. Next slide, please. And we have some additional offerings, specials for Veterans Day. In particular at Qdoba, save $2 off any regular entree. And our Veterans Day specials here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have dates for pickup in stores on those specials, and then you turn around and redeem the coupon at a later date, the 16th through the 20th. And we've also updated our return and exchange policy through the holiday season. Okay, next slide.
Hello, I'm Jamie Lynn with the Spouses Club. I have a couple things up here and a couple things that I need to throw in. Our next luncheon is a week from today. So today is the last day that you can RSVP for it. It's going to be at American Lake Conference Center. Our next luncheon is going to be December 12th. It's a tour of homes. We have 4 beautiful homes that we're going to be taking a tour of. Those details will be released when we get them. One thing that's not up there is our gift wrap fundraiser that we hold at the Main Post Exchange. We are hoping to have approval this week, and information on how to sign up for that should go out hopefully Friday or maybe Monday. And then lastly, ACE Night at the bottom here is 22 March. It's going to be at American Lake. Our theme this year is Derby Night, and our procurement letters are going to be going out soon. So last year we had a really amazing item donated / handmade by 16 Cab, and so we're trying to figure out who is going to beat them in this year's ACE Night, and that is all.
Good morning. I'm Patty Morgan with AUSA, and I'm very happy to be here this morning to launch our new program to support our families and our youth. We have the Colonel Isabel Joe Schwartz Memorial Fund. As many of you know, that AUSA has been contributing for over a decade to support our families and our youth with scholarships. And this year, we're giving credit where credit is due. Colonel Schwartz was a legacy donor to our local chapter, and we have brought our scholarship program in-house. So this is a benefit for our members. We have applications starting December 1st. And going all the way through mid-March. March 15th is our deadline. All applications need to be postmarked by that day. If you go to our website, you can download the application at ausatacoma.com, and you can read more about Colonel Schwartz as a lifelong believer in service and volunteerism and continuing education. So this scholarship is benefiting our kids that are graduating with, and it's focusing on their volunteerism and leadership skills. It's not merit-based, it's not need-based, it's volunteer and leadership skills. So over the holidays, they can get their application packets ready, do their essay, get their recommendations, transcripts, and use the holiday time to get this scholarship and other scholarships ready for consideration. If you have any questions for me, our team is in the back of the room, and I'm here to help you. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I am Command Sergeant Major Claiborne. I'm your Garrison Command Sergeant Major. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple things real quick. But first, I just want to say thank you for all the units and organizations on the installation that took part in the installation fall cleanup last week. It looks great out there. We really can't get it done without the unit's help in this process, so thank you very much for your support. Again, it looks great. So a local tradition that we have here in the Pacific Northwest is the Army-Navy football game. We have it every year now since 2000. Unfortunately, it leans towards the Navy, 12-6 in the series. So the next one, as you see here, is December the 7th. It's going to be on JBLM this year, Cowan Stadium, JBLM Maine. So come on out, support the team. Let's make it a raucous environment, right? Get Navy off their game. Cool. All right, next slide. All right, and then here's DFAC information for Thanksgiving. So what's important for everyone here to know is that it's actually going to take place the day before the Donza, which is on Wednesday, the 21st. You can see all the hours of the DFACs here. You don't need to write this down. It's on your table. There's a couple handouts to take with you. So if you haven't committed yet, to either, I know most of the leaders in this room will be serving at a DFAC, but if you're not, these are where you can go and get a Thanksgiving meal with soldiers. All right, and then as the boss team already mentioned, they are going to have their Thanksgiving dinner at the Warrior Zone with some events. What I would say to you is if you don't have plans for Thanksgiving, you're staying here local and you're a member of the chain of command, Command Sergeant Major, Commander, you want to come out and join the boss team, you're always welcome. They're going to serve chow there, and you're more than welcome to serve chow to your single soldiers, single service members. All right, and then the last thing I'll talk about, I know we've already mentioned some of our holiday programs. So commanders, sergeant majors, when I talk to you about these things, if you haven't heard about them, you do have a POC. We've got the Operation Turkey Drop, Operation Ham Grenade. We've already mentioned the commissary vouchers through Alicia. We have some gift card plans going on. And then finally, we also have the Santa's Castle. Now, the reason we keep extending the deadline on this is, as you can imagine, we haven't got quite the numbers that we got last year. That's not an indicator of anything at all, okay? But I want to make sure that everyone here understands how this program works. So when you talk to a lot of your service members who may be in need, if you ask them if they heard about Santa's Castle, the answer is usually no. And that's okay, because the program works like this. It's not for a soldier or an airman to go and sign up for, right? The chain of command is supposed to identify a soldier or an airman that's in need and put the application in for them, right? So we got to make sure that we're doing it correctly. And then the other thing that I'm going to ask for help on when it comes to Santa's Castle is the appointments. So obviously once we turn all these applications in, Santa Castle is going to set up a schedule, and they're going to email first sergeants and commanders with scheduled appointments. When those appointments come out, there's not a lot of flexibility. They're only open for a short period of time to get all the families through to get their gifts picked up at Santa's Castle. So if your soldier or your airman can't make the appointment, chances are they won't be able to be rescheduled. So if you know in advance that a soldier or airman cannot make the appointment, please let Santa Castle know so they can reschedule your soldier or your airman appropriately. Okay? All right, thank you guys very much. Ma'am?
All right, thanks. So did we cover enough? Feels like a ton. So just to foot stomp a couple of things, I want you to remember construction is good. Construction means we're improving the installation. Construction means that someone outside of JBLM is still giving us resources to make JBLM better. So please remember that when you're like cursing at the flag guy or whatever it is, because that really is, it is a good thing for JBLM now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So thanks for your patience. General Graham mentioned it at the beginning, but I just want to say it again. Please, please, please take extra precautions this time of year with safety and driving safely. We have kind of two problems with this regard. One is everybody really loves to do PT here, right? And everybody is out on the roads in those early morning hours. And it's not just 6:30 to 7:30. It really starts about 5:30 and goes till about at least 8. So really being cautious out there on the roads as a driver, but also as a pedestrian. We need to kind of track it from both angles. So, so please really, really encourage that safety. We'll do everything that we can to support what units need to be able to do out on the roads, but we can't control the weather, the fog, the fact that even though it's daylight right now because of daylight savings time, probably in less than a couple of weeks it's going to be dark again. The joys of the Pacific Northwest. So please, we don't want to have one of those near misses turn into something worse. I know everybody knows that's a life-changing event regardless of whose fault it is. So please help us out there on the roads. The last thing I want to, we've mentioned kind of multiple times about feedback. We really mean it. If you give us feedback, we will do something about it. So whether it's that piece of paper that's on your table, if you scribble something, we'll read that. If it's an ICE comment, doesn't matter what it is, use whatever tools you got, piece of toilet paper, doesn't matter to me. Please get us the feedback about what we do on JBLM in support of you, because that's really what it's about. If we're not doing it well, then we need to fix it. And the last thing is, I would just want to remind you, my favorite part about this meeting is that it is recorded. And so for people that can't be here, they can go and watch this entire thing. Please no one tell my parents, because they'll be watching it every month. But it's recorded, and then the slides are really designed so that if you needed to, you could take this slide deck and hand it right to your FRG leaders at multiple levels. So please, that's part of the reason why we sort of drag you through all this, because hopefully we've given you kind of a pre-packaged thing that can be used at multiple levels of your unit to help us get the word out. All right, so again, thanks for your participation, and before we close, sir, over to you for anything, Aaron? Okay, lastly, right, we're in the period of kind of thinking about what we're thankful for, and so I really just want to say thank you to all of you for the support and for what you do every day. JBLM really is one of the best places, and I'm so grateful to be able to be here in support of all of you. Thanks.